Well, hello everyone, and I have been keeping an eye on this documentary for a while now, and now that's finally debuted on Prime. It's one I definitely recommend watching because it is like a touching, and intimate, and oftentimes humorous portrait of a highly influential comedian and actor, with the title being taken from one of his most memorable lines and films. So, here are my first viewing thoughts on the John Candy documentary biopic I Like Me. The film is directed by Colin Hanks, produced by Ryan Reynolds' company Maximum Effort, and sees John's family, friends, and colleagues depicting the man in his life throughout out his from his birth in 1950, his career here starting out not just on SCTV but also the original Second City, a stage troupe it spun off from, through his vast film career here up until his final moments in 1994. And it's really a movie that just shows how earnest he was as a person, and an actor. Like how he never really butt into others' conversations. He always sat and listened on and off screen and what I had to say, and he was people pleaser. Like how he never really he gave half measures. Like even in works of his that were not as well received, he'd I always have sauce before them, because he always made an effort, no matter how the case, and where whether or not you're getting the Johnny Toronto persona, whether or not you're getting his many collaborations with fellow late great comedic talent John Hughes, who's or in my case, he's Bartholomew in Spaceballs. Always got the sense he always had like a warm sense of it, like how, and even his own background, that is rooted in losing ones he cared for an early age, so he that motivated him to be that way towards others. Man, it's just a reminder of something that we'll all use a bit more like now, man. Where he recognized a lot of people as they were, and he always felt deeply. It's like he managed to play off of all manner of ones, be they Tom Hanks, or Steve Martin, Eugene Levy, he and fellow comedic enemy Mel Brooks, all of whom, among others, appear in the documentary, and it is definitely a one that will likely leave you feeling emotional, especially if you're someone like me who by the time I started watching movies of him, he had been long gone, but he left behind like a sizable legacy. Like even that silly cartoon he was in, and he didn't do it just because he could. He still managed to find a way to put effort in like a syndicated had one about being the head counselor of a backwoods summer camp, and hilarity ensues. And it wasn't just in comedic works. Especially as time went on, he was definitely not about experimenting with more a serious fare, being in supporting roles of prestige films. Almost like his presence and was definitely a recognizable. I wasn't even aware that he had lost his left knee when he was younger and never had it replaced. He still, granted, I'm not sure what arthroscopic procedures were in that time period, but again, and if you have a distinctive to physical traits, it's be it like a walk cycle or a massive stage presence, you would naturally make that a large part of your identity as a person and a performer. And that's why for the seminal Thanksgiving classic, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, they highlight the scene where here here Steve Martin lays into him and the famous here's a good idea, have a point, makes things more interesting to the listener. He just takes it all in and he responds with the speech and the line that titles his film. I like me. My wife likes me. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that one myself, given the current state of affairs. Here's depending on my mood, like how that, and it definitely sums up who I think not only who John was as not just a performer but also as a human being. The way they book in the film with his celebration of life. Even though oh all the final moments and days were indeed very sad. The overall legacy that John has left is one that is touching and ultimately joyful and optimistic. I cannot say for certain this is my favorite film of the year, but as someone's been compiling it for a while, I can say with confidence, like the Christopher Reeve story last year, it just made the list. If you have Prime, I cannot recommend watch this movie enough. It's another strong on 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5 for me. Before I got back into the scares and the games and the effects from temples, I thought I would, as I've taken to doing lately, balance it out with something a bit more intimate as well. And that'll be all for now. And I will see you all again very soon. So, take care, everyone.